There's so many people that are like, she was a liar, she was manipulating. I had this bond with her, and I'm now questioning, why tell me that you want to have a relationship with me and then ghost me for months and months and months?
She'd act like she was your best friend and then completely ignore you. That's really
Do you want to call Robyn?
Yeah, let her know we can Zoom her. Robyn couldn't be at the birth in person just because of COVID.
Avalon's birth, classic moment featuring Robyn. My heart. Seriously, Kody had the audacity to ever say that Christine was a bad sister wife. Really? In the middle of their most tense relationship moment, Christine is practically giddy that Robyn is there on Zoom with Coyote. When Avalon arrives, Christine wastes no time in making sure the spotlight is firmly on Robyn. She even readjusts the laptop so Robyn doesn't miss a thing, narrating the entire event like it's a live commentary for an audience that includes only one person, Robyn. It's so clear that Christine's level of care and selflessness is on a whole other plane compared to Kody's limited emotional range. Honestly, it's no surprise she's finally walked away from that circus. Then there's Meri. Remember when she told the catfisher, oh, that whole saga about her colonoscopy? Yeah, Christine was the one who drove her there, brought her home, fed her, and checked in on her every hour afterward. Meanwhile, after that, crickets. Not a single word from Kody, not even a glance from Robyn. It's almost shocking Meri didn't see the writing on the wall about Robyn's indifference way earlier. And don't even get me started on Meri's story about Janelle allegedly kicking her while she was pregnant. Sure, that might sound juicy, but I'm not convinced the catfisher is exactly a reliable source, if you catch my drift. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. In the latest sneak peek of the upcoming tell-all, Christine subtly points out the close body language between Robyn and Kody in their engagement photos. It definitely raises some questions about the timeline of their relationship, suggesting they were already quite close well before the wedding. If those photos were taken before their official marriage, it's clear that their bond was already strong. When Kody is asked about any premarital relations, he gets visibly upset and avoids answering, which, as usual, feels like a classic deflection. It's hard not to wonder what he's trying so hard to hide. I've always found the timeline of Robyn and Kody's relationship a bit confusing. For example, when he was driving long distances to visit Robyn before she moved to Utah, it makes you wonder where exactly he stayed during those trips. Did he bring his older daughters, Maddie, Coyote, and Aspen, along for the ride? Maybe they had their own way of finding time to be together during those visits. It's easy to imagine the two of them sharing some quiet moments when they could. There's also been some speculation that Kody's old sports car was where they shared private time. And while it's a bit uncomfortable to think about, it adds to the mystery of their early relationship. I can't help but wonder if Kody's other wives were involved in making sure he brought the older daughters along to help keep boundaries in place. Did the girls, perhaps, feel a responsibility to ensure Kody and Robyn stayed pure during those visits? It's an interesting thought. This whole situation really puts a new light on Robyn's speeches about her purity. It's difficult to understand how Kody could hold her on such a high pedestal while hearing her tell untruths to the rest of his family. It's hard to imagine how he can stay composed through some of her more emotional moments. I really hope the original wives bring some of this to light, as it reveals a lot about Kody and Robyn's relationship. It would be an important moment of clarity, especially given the dynamics involved. Robyn, in particular, owes the other wives and children some kind of understanding and apology for her actions during this time. It's clear to me that Kody and Robyn were spiritually married long before it was officially acknowledged on the show. Maybe everyone already knew, or perhaps Kody thought he had the authority to move forward in their relationship before it was publicly recognized. But it's obvious they were already deeply connected. Their closeness, the way they interacted with each other, it was more than just a casual relationship. Anyone who believes they spent all that time together without developing a deeper connection is probably not seeing the full picture. The evidence is all there in how they were with each other, even in the early days. Kody's obsession with proving his dad wrong is almost comical at this point. His dad once told him he wasn't cut out for polygamy, and Kody's been on a mission ever since to show him he's totally wrong. Except, oops, it turns out dad was right. And you've got to imagine that stings a little. I mean, the man's got his pride, right? Then there's the added embarrassment of the fact that his dad actually made his relationship with Janelle's mom work, which only rubs salt in the wound. Meanwhile, Kody's relationship with Janelle, which he thought was the big success story, is falling apart. Not to mention that they had real chemistry, like actual sexual chemistry. So yeah, that loss probably hits harder than he cared to admit. Let's not even get started on the fact that he probably misses her money too. Classic Kody move, right? But here's the thing. I honestly think he genuinely liked Janelle in a way he never really did with Meri or Christine. Sure, he treated her and her kids terribly, but I think he actually enjoyed spending time with her. And let's face it, the sex didn't hurt either. With Meri and Christine, it was more about not getting along with them. And while losing them was embarrassing, it wasn't exactly sad. But with Janelle, oh yeah, that one's been tough for him to swallow. He's not out there begging to get all his wives back to revive the polygamy lifestyle, but with Janelle, he's clearly hoping for some kind of reconciliation, though, let's be real, if they got back together, he'd probably still be the same jerk he was before. Janelle's whole entrance into the family was way less calculated than Meri or Christine's. He picked them out like they were a part of some ideal polygamist plan, but Janelle, she was a wild card. She wasn't even polygamist, and they just clicked. There was actual attraction and connection there, something he didn't have with his other wives. So yeah, that must sting a little extra. As for Robyn, total wet blanket. I bet Kody spends most of his time just following her around like a lost puppy, constantly checking her face to figure out how he's supposed to feel. He's like a human barometer for her emotions. Pathetic. But with Janelle, he didn't have to put on a show. She wasn't demanding like Robyn, and she didn't pick fights like Christine and Meri. Janelle made him feel comfortable, like he could actually be himself, whatever that means. Maybe that's why he misses her so much. It's not that he treated her any better, but at least with Janelle, he wasn't pretending to be someone else. Season 6, the pinnacle of we're here for research, not because we want to try on clothes, right, Robyn? So there they are, ready for their love fest shopping spree, and the store? Yeah, not exactly stocked for the OG 3 wives. But no worries, because Robyn steps up with her best I'm doing this for the team face and volunteers to try on the clothes. For research, of course, sure, Robyn. You knew good and well that the sizes weren't going to fit the others. Come on, be serious. Fast forward to them all buying fabric that, no joke, would never make it as a decent dress material. You could already tell things were about to go south. And of course, they give the poor seamstress, who must have been sipping on sheer optimism, a tight 2 weeks to pull off 4 dresses. What could go wrong? Spoiler, literally everything. The planning for that event? An absolute mess. Honestly, it's time for a rebrand, preferably one that doesn't involve Kody and Robyn. Like, can we just get them off the show already? They're raking in money for doing absolutely nothing of value. We've all watched Kody verbally tear into his wives and neglect his kids. Continuing to put him on TV is just irresponsible at this point. The guy won't answer a single question, lies like it's his job, and constantly rewrites history. Meanwhile, the real truth is coming from the OG3, not from Kody or Robyn. And don't even get me started on the scenes with Kody, Robyn, and their kids. Watching them feels like secondhand embarrassment. Either they're terrible actors or those poor girls are so on edge because they're dealing with an unstable Kody. Either way, it's uncomfortable. Honestly, how about the show gets a complete makeover and just focuses on the OG3? Let's see the lawsuits unfold. Let's watch Janelle, Maddie, and Caleb build Tata farms, while paying them for their time, of course. And hey, if Meri and Janelle want to date, let's see that too. At this point, just feature any of the adult OG13 who want to participate and actually pay them. The OG3 can still share their truth about the past. Honestly, that's what I'm enjoying most these days. Everything we've suspected for years is finally being confirmed, and I'm here for it. They've been carrying Kody&Robyn long enough, while all they do is lie about the past, and these aren't even subtle lies. They're obvious, blatant lies, and the footage proves it, but somehow they still get away with it. But let's be real, TLC isn't exactly great at rebrands. Remember when the Josh Duggar scandal broke? TLC tried to kick him and his parents off the show, but then Jim Bob and Michelle somehow wormed their way back in. Oh, and let's not forget, TLC was paying Jim Bob the whole time, not the adult kids even on the reboot. So yeah, I have zero faith that TLC wouldn't screw this up too. Who could have possibly spilled the beans about Janelle's move to Kody? Time to indulge in some wild speculation, of course. In the last episode, Kody conveniently left out which kid dropped the bomb. Could it be that the kids from the OG3, are we calling them that now, by the way, shared the news with one of Robyn's older kids, who then passed it along to Kody? It's not like he has much of a connection with the non-Robyn kids, so it's a thought. Or maybe he's still in touch with Truly, and she just couldn't resist filling him in. And then there's my Kelty, the perennial attention seeker. The Surviving Sister Wives podcast won't even acknowledge her by name anymore, instead just giving her the old who treatment. You know, because clearly she lives for the spotlight. Kody and his deep, profound fear of poverty. We learned during one of the tell-alls or one-on-ones that this is his biggest concern, which is adorable considering how, before the show, he was basically living the dream. If your dream involves eating moldy bread, using government subsidies, and declaring bankruptcy. But sure, Kody, we're all super worried about your future financial stability. You'd think someone so terrified of running out of money would be a little more careful about spending. But nope. Instead, he's busy blowing cash on multiple million-dollar homes for Robyn and her kids. Guess he's okay with poverty for himself, but not so much when it comes to his fourth wife and her brood. If he actually treated Aurora and Brianna like the other kids, those girls would have been out of the house by now, and Robyn and Kody could probably get by just fine in a 4-bedroom home. You know, one with a few outdoor sheds for Kody's manly hobbies like chopping trees, marking property lines, and painting picnic tables, because nothing screams financial prudence like that. Anyway, these are just the random thoughts I had while brushing my teeth and listening to an ad for the second half of the season. Every time Kody talks about a house, it's always about square footage. Every single time. Even when Janelle tossed out the idea of her own little casita, you could practically see his face fall. He wants to be rich, but he's really not interested in doing anything to actually earn it. He wants all the luxury and power that money brings, just without, the actual work. It's like he has zero business sense. His investments seem way off too. Just a bunch of misguided decisions based on no actual financial understanding. Probably why he's always been in sales, right? I remember Robyn mentioning that they were in sales and how Kody got a gold-colored car out of it. I can't help but wonder, was that an MLM thing? And did Robyn dip her toes into that world too? Kody&Robyn, aliens among us? Why does every interaction between Kody, Robyn, and DABSA, don't ask, big sad alien, feel like we're watching a family of aliens desperately trying to blend in with humans? Seriously, it's like they're playing a game of how not to act human 101. Is it because they're so aware of the hate they get that they're constantly self-conscious Or is it that they genuinely don't speak to each other unless there's a camera in their face? Hello, fellow humans. We are so thrilled to be in this room with you to engage in meaningful conversation. Not a single interaction between Kody and Robyn, or really anyone in that family, feels natural or authentic. The only exception, Meri, who, bless her heart, doesn't give a flying you-know-what about any of this. She's just vibing. But seriously, do Kody and Robyn even realize how much their treatment of the other wives and kids, the ones who aren't part of Robyn's personal entourage, has torn the family apart? Or are they just too narcissistic to acknowledge the damage they've done? Robyn, especially, seems to be the one wreaking havoc, tearing apart her own family with her unhealthy mix of lies, theft, and this never-ending act of fake victimhood. It's honestly like they're a living, breathing cautionary tale. If they could just admit the part they've played in all the drama, instead of constantly playing the "we're the real victims here" card, maybe, just maybe, they could find a little peace. And who knows? They wouldn't have to buy their fleeting happiness with overpriced material nonsense. They could start by paying back what they actually owe to the ex-wives, for starters. How do the adult children afford it all? We all know that Kody and his wives are constantly under the microscope. But seriously, how do some of the adult kids manage to have large families too? Take Christine's daughter, Coyote, for example. She's got multiple kids and a big, beautiful house. Am I missing something here? Is Utah secretly paying top dollar for everything and offering houses at a bargain price? I've heard TLC doesn't exactly hand out huge paychecks to the cast, so how are they making it work? I mean, Utah does look gorgeous, but is it really the magic formula for financial success? And while we're at it, what's the deal with childcare in Utah? Where I live, daycare costs an arm and a leg, about $2,000 a month, so it's no wonder most people here can't have more than 2 kids. Plus, with mortgage rates soaring, it's almost impossible for one parent to stay home. Anything beyond 2 kids seems like a logistical puzzle. Oh, and my Coyote's got a Patreon. So does Christine, Meri, Janelle, and Maddie. They're all dabbling in MLMs too. I'd really love to know which of the kids have a solid grip on their finances and which ones not so much. Their parents, after all, have never exactly been financial role models, have they? As for Maddie, her house always looks pretty average middle class when she posts from home. I did a little digging and found that in the area around Tata Farms, you can grab a 3-bedroom with a yard for somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000. It's still less accessible than it used to be, but not exactly a luxury price tag either. And hey, food in some parts of the country is way cheaper, so maybe that helps. Sure, a lot of them are into MLMs, but hey, some actually have regular jobs too. Funny how that works, right? The good old days when Sister Wives was carried by Christine, Janelle, and Meri. Those were the glory days when they had actual storylines and filmed in their homes, making the show feel real. Meanwhile, Sob and Robyn would make a cameo every now and then with her signature dramatic tears. Then, of course, the other wives left, taking their share of TLC's paycheck with them. Naturally, Kody had to make sure he and his beloved Robyn didn't miss out on their cut. So we got to watch her stand under trees, gaze thoughtfully into the distance, fall off of toys, and, of course, paint rotting tables. Real riveting stuff. Look, I get that not every storyline is perfectly organic, but Robyn and her kids take bad acting to a whole new level. Every staged scene is so painfully forced it's like watching a high school drama club try to put on a Shakespeare play, except with less talent. And then after every shoot, she's throwing a tantrum. You couldn't even keep it together long enough to pay for the house. Now I have to go out there and pretend for the cameras. Great, and all those fans are gonna rip me apart. You did this, Kody. Fix it with Janelle. Honestly, it feels like I need to pop another antidepressant every time we're subjected to a conversation with Robyn and Kody's family. There is absolutely no joy in that house. Everything is a crisis, like the tiniest thing could lead to the end of the world. I'm really hoping the bad acting is just for the cameras, because if it's not, someone needs to step in and reprogram these people. Trying to make sense of the whole sister wives saga, I've been mindlessly zooming out to trash TV while I work, stuff that doesn't require much brainpower. This year, I decided to dive headfirst into the full Sister Wives catalog, and now, here I am, all the way into season 19, trying to figure out where everything went completely off the rails. I'm calling it now the Flagstaff move, a disaster from the jump. I mean, it's clear that everyone hates Robyn, and while she's definitely changed over the course of the show, I can't help but feel like both she and the viewers were completely duped by this happy family fantasy. In the beginning, Kody and his 3 original wives sold the sister wives dream, putting on this whole love fest act. Then, as the cracks started showing, suddenly everyone's admitting they never actually got along. Meri and Janelle couldn't stand each other, Christine was always jealous, and so on. It's like they pitched Robyn this perfect vision of a harmonious family, but it was all a total lie. Robyn had her own issues, sure, but they all made her think she was walking into some come-by-a moment when in reality, they were just setting the stage for a cash grab disguised as a reality show. And don't even get me started on how they started to let slip that they were having private conversations without cameras, like when Kody and Meri's relationship was in the toilet, and they were too chicken to make it public. At this point, I'm genuinely starting to feel gross for even watching this train wreck, let alone contributing to the creepy little empire they've built. But I have to admit, I do find the older kids impressive. Despite growing up in the middle of all this dysfunction, they seem to have figured out how to have decent adult relationships. Maybe they just learned what not to do by watching their parents. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.